Hello everyone, I am the Electromagnetic Field Protection Guru. Here I am going to talk about why the US and Canada have set such a high EMF exposure levels. First, let's check out the biological exposure guidelines for both of these countries. The first thing that's very obvious is that none existed for both Canada and the USA. The only guideline for radio frequency wave exposure is Safety Code 6, created by Health Canada. And it has an unreasonably huge number, which is 2 million to 10 million milliwatts per meter square, or 200 to 1000 megawatt per centimeter square. And these are solely based on short-term thermal effects or the immediate heating of body tissues. So in a sense, it's not even taken into account long-term exposure or other biological effects. It's only dealing with thermal effects. Now, it has been obvious that from my other videos and other researchers concluded that there are other adverse biological effects that have been documented with levels that are far, far lower than what Safety Code 6 guidelines has mentioned. However, the government or any of the big corporations, when they follow Safety Code 6, they wouldn't take this into account. And if you actually ask most of the big corporations or power industry, they would often argue that the reason why they haven't taken those documents or researchers that there are adverse biological effects for lower levels is because those papers and research are not properly peer reviewed. And this is actually often not correct in a sense because some of these research is actually done properly and with peer reviewed process completed. So I'm not too sure why they have this as an argument, but I have heard this a lot from those huge organizations as well as those EMF working groups. Now, for magnetic fields, Health Canada has not independently established guidelines for the exposure levels, and from this we actually have to rely on the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection Group, which they call it the ICNIRP guidelines. And what they did was they state the limit for this as 830 milligauss. And again, same thing as what Health Canada did. They are based only on short-term acute exposure and disregard the effect of long-term exposure on people. Now let's look at the comparison of the various researches and guidelines that are available out in the world right now. You could also just see these values and reports in various sources in the internet. So for electrical field, the government guideline is usually in the range of 10 million microwatt per meter square, which is from Safety Code 6. Now, there are other thing called the building biology precautionary guidelines that are in the internet, and they have offered the value of 10 to 1000 microwatt per meter squared to be of severe concern. And Bioinitiative research report, research done by a group, a huge group of medical professionals, as well as experts from the EMF field. They have put a value of 1000 as precautionary. So the building biology precautionary guidelines are very similar to the Bioinitiative research report, but it is far, far lower than what the government guideline is at. Now, as for the magnetic fields, the government uses the ICNIRP, which is the 830 milligauss. Now, if you look at the building precautionary guideline of 1 to 5 milligauss and the Bioinitiative research report of 1 to 2 milligauss, this is an astronomical huge number compare. And that's because that 830 milligauss is basically when you see immediate results in the thermal effect on human tissues. So in this level, you actually see an immediate effect, and it totally disregards the long-term effect that the other two guidelines and report have mentioned. Now, the ultimate question is, why does the industry want to retain such high values? Well, the reason being is, again, it's easier for them to do their work. So, for example, if they want to build new power lines or other facilities near your home, they could do that without any opposition due to health concerns and all of that. Because imagine the cost for changing out these infrastructures due to violation of EMF limits as recommended by other researchers. For the last 50 years to 100 years, you have been building these power lines and other facilities very close to your home to a point that it is actually affecting your health. Now imagine that if the government now adopts these new values that are being proposed by the various researchers and health professionals, if they adopted it, that means that most of their infrastructures would need to be moved, in which this would cost them a lot of money. So that is why it gives them an incentive to keep those ridiculous high numbers as part of their own guidelines. Because if they don't do that, then this will lead to lesser profitability for those power companies and big corporations, which means that they have less bonuses for the executives of the power companies. And of course, they don't want to do that. So that is why that they want to leave out those researches, disregard the lower limits that are continuously reported by those medical professionals, disregard all of those researches pertaining to long-term effects, and just make sure to tell all of the public that Health Canada Safety Code 6 and ICNIRP, those ridiculous high numbers are the ones that should be followed. And this is the reason why they want to do that.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope that the information that I provide you is going to be helpful for your research and analysis on the EMF levels around you. Please join us by joining us as a member, as part of the EMF Electromagnetic Protection Group, by clicking and filling out our registration form in the description on my video below. And what would you get from this membership is you would get the latest news on EMF research. You were also going to get the latest free tools to analyze the EMF levels around you. You will also get reviews on what is effective and what is not effective with regards to EMF detection and protection. Now, if you join now, you will receive some of my experiences in EMF consultation, and that is the typical EMF levels that you will see for your home appliances. So what you have in this sheet right here is going to be very useful information, as these are some of the measurement ranges that I obtain from different households using a industrial level EMF detection equipment. And these values are what I've got through my years of experience as an EMF consultant. So this information is very useful when you are doing the readings yourself, or when you are asking someone to do readings for you, because now you would have reference values to base it off, as to see whether or not your appliances and home equipment resides in the low value or high value of the EMF range. So be sure to join us, be part of our membership. It's free. Subscribe to our channel for our latest videos. I hope you enjoy these information. I hope this helps you in your EMF research and analysis. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.